what happens after that that I really want to hit the hammer on the head. Oh! Shay is Tyrion's whore, or the woman that he essentially cares about and loves. Viserys drops this bomb and says, your father likes to keep his word and he will hang the next whore that you are caught with. So Shay is not safe and I would advise that you send her somewhere else. So Tyrion doesn't know what to do because Shay is a very persistent bitch. He essentially devises a scheme to break up with her by saying he doesn't love her anymore. She's gonna live in this spectacular house of servants she's not gonna want anymore, which is actually very kind of him. He wants to save her life, so he's gonna set her up, he's gonna hook her up with everything, like the deluxe package over at Pinto's. They break up and it's pretty sad, but considering, now this is where I get confused, because if you read the books, you know what Shay does following the wedding, I believe. I think I might be chronologically out of order, but in that vicinity, Shay does something to Tyrion that's a little bit shady. It results in a very important scene between Tyrion and Tywin Lannister that is quite possibly one of my favorite encounters between the two. Going into the Purple Wedding, Tyrion is told that Shay is on the ship and she's safe, and he made sure that she's on the ship so she's not going to be taken by Tywin. Now, with that being said, I'm not entirely sure if this is where in the books things start to get a little bit crazy, but I think it is. I think it is. So if I'm right, my prediction and that encounter between Tyrion and Tywin will happen in the next episode, which I'm excited because Tyrion, I told you this season is going to be Tyrion's season. Tyrion is blamed for the death of Joffrey Baratheon of houses Baratheon and Lannister. I don't know, he has some weird ass titles because those Lannisters cannot let go of their name. So the wedding begins and it is as beautiful and as regal as it was depicted in the books, and in person and seeing it in the TV show, it was a great translation. It was essentially what I would picture a royal wedding of that caliber to be. Margaery looked gorgeous and I loved that dress. Margaery's wedding dress is covered in shells and like these beautiful items, but you kind of like, it's kind of like don't touch me, you know, and that's the kind of vibe that Margaery obviously gives to Joffrey. She's like, don't touch me, little kid, because you're snively and awful and evil. Now, what I find interesting about the wedding is that Margaery's grandmother, bless her soul, I love that woman. She is super like nice and friendly, and yeah, she has her tendencies now and then, but she's very suspicious. I highly urge you to rewatch the episode because there are a lot of signs leading into the death of the king, because a lot of the world is guessing like, no way, there's no way that Tyrion could have killed his own nephew. As much as he despises him, Tyrion has too much honor or like virtue, like self-virtue, to do something like that, which is true. Tyrion wouldn't do something like that. If you rewatch the episode and you see the clues between Oberyn Martell, Oberyn Martell, the Tyrells, like Margaery, her grandmother, and just all of the events culminating around the wedding, you could kind of tell this is gonna happen. And boy, was it lovely. The bitch is dead. I am pretty sure that everyone was either very happy, shocked, or like myself, just laughing at the fact that King Joffrey is dead. Bitch turned purple. It's not a purple wedding because its royal family's getting married. I'm sorry to all those people that I tricked, but it's a purple wedding because Joffrey chokes on wine, poisoned wine, and he turns purple. As much as I was laughing throughout that scene, it was well done because I remember reading it in the books. There was this high level of tension, and seeing it translate onto the television screen, you still felt tense. I felt very tense even though I knew what was coming up. I think it's one of the few times that I'll actually feel bad for Cersei Lannister, because her just little "my son" when Joffrey is officially dead kind of broke my heart a little bit, because as much as we hate this snively little bastard, like, that's her son. She cared about him. It's like a great dichotomy to see the difference between the red wedding and the purple wedding. Now Cersei's out for blood, and it's happening to Tyrion. Speaking of Cersei, I did love her whole "I'm the Regent Queen," even though Marjorie's the queen. But to see the fact that Cersei still has so much manipulation and so much power over the people in King's Landing was interesting to see, because she's not going to be that easy to get rid of. It was also very, very lovely to see Brienne's slight pause at the mention of loving Jaime. As she mentioned, she just didn't save him, he saved her in a way, and I thought that was very lovely and very beautiful, because there are two characters that I thoroughly enjoy. I love Jaime Lannister. I love all of the character development and all of the attention that he's been getting this season. There's just so much more to him that I feel like a lot of viewers don't understand. It's really great to see him coming into his own. He is a person himself. He has his own struggles. He has his own convictions. You can see that it really bothers him that he's known as the Kingslayer, and I don't know. I just have a lot of Jaime feels, and this episode perpetuated it. That was episode 2. We had the purple wedding. We learned more about Ramsay Snow. There was stuff about Stannis and Melisandre. I feel like their plotline doesn't really develop as much until Melisandre really takes the center stage and not Stannis. Although you may not agree with me now, because she is very prominent in Stannis' life, she's still not the focal point. Like, she's working her way into that position, and once she does, her character arc and that whole story really picks up. Season 4 is gonna be the season, you guys. I'm serious, main characters don't matter. Like Jaime, Dany, Jon. I'm not necessarily saying that they're gonna die, don't get me wrong, but this season's gonna be an eye-opener for a lot of viewers, because Game of Thrones has a certain reputation, and I feel like this season will definitely uphold it and go beyond it. I will end it with this. Weddings are to make history, and boy did this wedding make history. Joffrey sure did choke on his words, didn't he? No, I can come up with a better one than that. I don't know, but that shade of purple looks lovely on ya, King Joffrey. Alright. Peace out, Sailor Scouts, and I'll see you next week for episode 3 of Game of Thrones. And if you're not caught up on Game of Thrones, please do so, because this is going to be a regular thing, and we're going to talk about it and have so much fun. Alright. Toodles!